Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome along to the communities part of the Education and Communities meeting. This meeting has been held remotely and also in person and will be filmed and recorded for live and subsequent broadcast available through the Council's website. The Council is a data controller under the General Data Protection Regulations and Data Protection Act 2018. We broadcast and record Council meetings to fulfil our public past obligation to enable members of the public to observe the democratic process. Data collected during the process will be retained in accordance with the Council's established policies, available through the Council's website. Members of the Council are reminded to follow the Council's established meetings protocols, including around the use of the chat facility, and that any comments made in the chat facility are visible to all participants in the meeting, which may include members of the public who have received invites to the meeting. And with that, can I ask Diane to go for apologies, declarations of interest and substitutions?
Here we have an apology for absence from Councillor Maguire, Councillor Cassidy substituting, Councillor Nelson, and Councillor Wilson for the communities business only. In the later education business, we have an apology from Ms MacDonald, the parent representative. Convener will now move to an attendance roll call before proceeding to the declarations of interest. And the following members please are present at the meeting either in person or remotely. Councillor Armstrong. Present in the chamber. Councillor Brennan. Present in the chamber. Councillor Cassidy. Present in the chamber. Councillor Flaherty.
Present in chamber.
Councillor Hellier.
Present in the chamber.
Councillor McVeigh.
In chamber.
Councillor Quinn.
Present remotely.
Councillor Reynolds.
Present remotely.
Councillor Robertson.
Present in the chamber.
Are there any declarations of interest?
I do. So, sorry, Convener, I do in the second part of the meeting. Do I have to declare it now or later on?
You can declare later on, I think. We're going to go for the exact same thing again.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
So with that, can I welcome Councillor Cassidy along? Hope you find the meeting rewarding and fulfilling. Sure. And can we go to agenda item number 2, which is the community revenue budget 2024 outturn, and also the current state. And Ian's going to take us through this.
Thanks, Convener. So there are two parts to the report this cycle, the final outturn for 24-25 and the projected outturn for 25-26. Section 3.3 and 3.4 give details of the final outturn for 24-25. That was an underspend of 56,000 or 1% of the total budget. And that was a reduction in expenditure of 5,000 from the amount reported to the May Committee. The main areas of underspend were within community halls and related to a movement in the school lets, bad debt provision, and also an over recovery of 10,000 for that. So the 25-26 communities revenue budget is currently 5.724 million, and the latest projections are an overspend of 118,000, 2.1% of the budget. And it's mainly due to the non-achievement of turnover savings, 77,000 within libraries and museum, and 19,000 within community safety. Section 3.6 and Appendix 4 give details of earmarked reserves. The only earmarked reserves for this financial year relates to the community grants expenditure, and that will be 25,000 once next week, I believe, the community grants subcommittee. And that 25,000 is in place for 3 years as a substitute for an earlier budget saving. So I'm not requesting any violence in this committee cycle. So committee are asked to know what the final outturn for 24-25 and also the current projected overspend for the current financial year. Happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Ian. Before we go on to questions, can I just apologise to Councillor Quinn? Lynn, you had your hand up. Was it under declarations?
Yeah, it's fine. It's about the education part, so I'll leave it to the next committee. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And I'll open up to questions from members. If we get no questions, can I agree the report? And can we move on to agenda item number 3, which is the capital programme? we'll start with Hugh and we've got Eddie here as well. Hugh?
Thank you, Christina. Afternoon, everyone. This is just the normal update we give to the community for the spend on through our capital budgets. 4.1 report gives the overall amount of money that's still available for this capital spend across community. Just highlight a number of things across the paper. 3.5 gives you an update on the asset management plan for the recycling of our pitches this year. Within that, you can see the simple 3G pitch. There's a last cap which is replaced, and that's just ongoing at the moment. Gate Road, Community Hall, extension upgrade. Just note for a change in this paper, it says on the first paragraph it's Further Futures Fund, and it's actually early adopter funded, just for a note on that. It gives us the opportunity to bring in some money to the Gate Road area to build on the successful package for Glasgow. 3.7 gives you an update on Bank Street Community Hub, where that is going to planning this week for agreement, and we're on time scales for that site to start commencing the work, probably sometime later this year or early 2026. 3.8 gives you an update about an application to Regeneration Capital Funds for April, and this money would be approved. If successful, we will find out in the end of September 25 if we're successful to go to stage 2. Stage 2 then will be submitted late on November, and if successful for that, the stage 2, we will find out early February 26 if we're successful in that field. Within the paper, you'll see an attachment of the work that we're continuing to do with our assets work. There's a number of ongoing concerns and working closely with a number of community assets, trying to do that. It's going very well. I'm happy to take any questions in the report.
Thank you, Hugh. Do we have any questions for Hugh or for Eddie? Since he's sitting here, we want to make sure we get our money out of him. Tommy, I'll come to you first. Councillor McVeigh.
Thank you, Christina. Thanks to officers for progressing on the Gate Road. Again, further money available to invest in the site secure gate. So thanks to them for that. That's a very tight time scale though, Christina, as you acknowledge. So I suppose I'm looking for a degree of comfort that we'll get it done in time and just further on in that. Just some more understanding. If we only spend 500 at 700k, that means we need to find the other 200 by the 31st of March. Is that correct? Is that an understanding?
I think I'll go to Eddie with that one. Eddie?
Yeah, through you, convener. You're correct. It is a tight time scale, similar to the Boulderstone project, where we had 500,000 to spend in a very short time scale. This is 700, and it involves an extension rather than work to an existing asset. So it is quite a tight time scale. We'll get to get the tenders back. So there's still a risk that the tenders come back, above our budget as well. So can't give any guarantees that we'll absolutely, everything will go smoothly at the moment. We'll give updates as at each stage of the process. And yes, the risk would sit with us as we had for Boulderstone. We'll include an item in the risk section in this report that says if we don't manage to spend all that money by the end of March, there's a risk that the council's budgets have to pick up the balance. And as we did in Boulderstone, we were undertaking to make that commitment from the Regeneration Core Capital Funding. Part of the work here is upgrading an existing asset as well. So similar approach to Boulderstone, we did manage that one, but again, it's a similar tight time scale. Can't give absolute guarantees.
Okay, thank you.
Just on that, the Boulderstone work was done in-house. Am I right? It wasn't
It was, yes, it was predominantly coordinated through BSU, although there's quite a lot of subcontract activity as well. So it wasn't dissimilar to this, but we are tendering this particular one.
Okay, thanks, Eddie. Paul? Councillor Cassidy?
Also, I'm some for Councillor Dwyer today, so she just asked me to pass along the fact that she welcomes to this funding for Gate Roads, to help expand the great offering that it already provides to the community, and she's hopeful that officers will do everything they can to move faster to ensure that they get the spend. I know Eddie will be pulling a wrap out of the hat to try and make that happen, I'm sure.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Any other questions? No. Can again thank you and thank Eddie and agree the paper. Can we go to agenda item number 4, which I know you can see it's an update paper, but it includes 19 items, which previously could have been 19 separate papers. So I'm going to pass on to Tony, and then he'll be able to ask any questions in any one of those 19, I'm sure. Tony?
Thanks, Convener. So the Communities Update report has got, as Convener says, quite a few updates in relation to the Inclusive Communities Service and also libraries and cultural services. I won't go through every update, but I suppose I just want to draw your attention to a few in particular. There's been really good work in relation to the Safer Communities agenda with activities around anti-social behaviour awareness week, and also you will see the partnership response to the increasing misuse of off-road vehicles as well. Some let's be around that. Our early adopter for affordable childcare continues to develop and provide opportunities for young people and their families over the summer. And this is part of the reason why this is such a lengthy report, is that a lot goes on over the summer for this area of the service. So this, together with extensive programmes provided by Youth and Sport Services and their play schemes, and a provision for families with children with those traditional supporting, there's a lot going on. As you can see from the figures, participation has increased since last year in respect of some of the new provisions for children with ASN. It's been a really successful, just to draw your attention, I suppose, to the ASN swimming sessions as well, which has gone down really well with families, and we've got some very good positive feedback for that. Our library service continues its work as a community space as well as a lending library, and particularly the key role it plays in improving the public health agenda at local level. You'll also see from the updates provided that they also have a role in supporting social justice, working with DWP, care homes and other marginalised groups, as well as contributing to the summer programme along with youth services elsewhere. And our last list was our cultural service and heritage offer continue to develop and improve with our partnership with the Global Herbs programme, which was really successful and involved a lot of families across Inverclyde as well, and just highlighting the importance of biodiversity in the area and climate change at a global level. So happy to take any questions.
Thanks, you. I'll open up for questions. I'll bring Francesca in first. Francesca?
Thanks, Convener. Yeah, there's obviously just so much been going on and since last committee that it does feel unfair to pick any one thing out, but I think I just want to acknowledge obviously all the work going on for young people in Inverclyde over the summer, and just a massive thanks to everybody involved in putting that together. I think I was talking to some people living in my ward over the summer who'd been at play schemes, I think in Hope Farm Roads, then they've gone on to work at play schemes, and now they're sending their own children to some of our summer activities and just saying that times have really changed, but there's still a really fantastic offer for young people here, that everybody's got something they can go back to school after the summer and talk about with their friends. That just a massive thanks for that. It's really special work that's going on, and that's it doesn't come easy to put all that on, so thanks very much.
Thank you. I'll bring Pam in then. Ian. Pam?
Thanks, Convener. Yes, thanks very much for the report. I just have a hopefully a short, quick question. I'm looking at the top of page 23 where it refers to ongoing cancer screening survey, and I just want to ask, is this Councillor Helliott's initiative, which I previously commended him on, or is it something wider or more? I just want a wee bit of more information if possible, please. Thank you.
I can't tell you the detail of that just now. Maybe Councillor Helliott through you, Convener, really wants to come in on that, but I can get more information for you, certainly from the service on that.
Ian, it's up to yourself. It's unusual for an elected member to answer a question, but I'm more than happy for you to.
Thanks, Convener, and through yourself, and thanks very much, Pamela, for the question. It's not particularly down to my source for that point, although it is ongoing in Inverclyde, but the only question that I pressed the button was to say that Gurok was under consideration for further screening and a drop-in for people to come in, which is definitely an advantage to the town. So I can definitely say that that's under consideration.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Okay. And now, Ian, your question?
That's it. I was just.
You're just going to highlight that. No problem. Paul, you want back in?
Yeah. It's probably just a question under 3.2. The actual Social Awareness Week, I think it was good to see that we're doing something to promote that. Which is maybe an asset if we look at next year, that maybe let's kind of reach out to some of the community stuff across everything, just so we can get a bigger expanse of it.
Okay, Tony. Yep. Tommy, Councillor McVeigh.
Thanks, convener. Can we have just a breakdown of the attendance at the 7 day schemes? But I'm happy to play that offline and get officers to say that one.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
Thanks.
Any other? Councillor Reynolds, Sandra?
Hi, thanks, convener. Again, thanks for the report. Can I just quickly highlight 315 Inverclyde STEM Festival? It mentions the festival, another successful family day. But behind that is a huge amount of work that's gone in. And just to recognise Gillian Neeson, our primary science development officer, who's worked really, really hard to make this festival, which went over at least 2 weeks across Inverclyde. It's just not that day. Supported by areas like the Shed, our own libraries, what was happening in the schools, the molecule hunt, which took place in Gourock and extended to Kilmacombe this year, and also a representative from CERC, the board that I sit on, to help the Shed with their bees as well. And if you follow Facebook, you'll see that STEM is mentioned all the time in schools. So the festival has helped to highlight the work that the schools, primary and secondary, do in this. And I'd like to commend everybody that's involved in this. I'm sure I've missed people out, and I'm sorry if I have, but it's a very, very successful piece of work, which the ripples go out. It just doesn't stop at the festival day at the Watt Museum. Thanks.
Thanks for that, Sandra. Sandra, I suppose there is a question that leads on to that. How do we ensure that we keep that focus on STEM going for the future? So I suppose that is the question that leads on from Sandra's said.
I don't.
Oh. Sorry, Sandra. It's probably a question.
I thought you were asking me. That's fine. I'm happy to defer to somebody else.
No, it was a question I've got for our officers.
So, and we got some additional funding from Education Scotland to help with the STEM officer. So that money was shorter term, and you know, the schools will keep STEM going forward. You see the level of excitement that the post has created, and we always look at these posts to leave a legacy, to make sure that they've got a lasting impact and that we're empowering teachers. But thank you for the comments. It was a fantastic day. It was great to see just everybody having such fun, and just how many different parties were involved in the delivery. It was fantastic.
Okay, thanks, Ruth. Do we have any other questions on it? If no other questions, it just comes to me, there was an awful lot in this report. Please pass on our thanks to everybody who's been involved in it, for our partnership with Inverclyde Leisure, from our Young Scots partnership, play schemes, so much there. So please pass on our thanks for all the hard work that's been done, especially during the summer months. And with that, can we move on to agenda item number 5? And that is the Ward 6 Community Review, and that's yourself, Hugh.
Thanks, Ken. Convener. The purpose of this board is to seek approval to undertake a detailed review of our community provision within Ward 6, and we'll report back the findings to a future meeting of this committee. Further the review, we're looking at all the assets that is community-based within the Ward 6 area, and we're looking at how to the operational challenges, and also the fabrics of the buildings. And I'm happy to get any questions on this report.
Okay, so what we're actually saying there is that the sports is not included in the review. Yeah, okay. I'll let Paul come in.
Yes, that's fair. Yeah, that was kind of going with one of my questions. I think, you know, because a lot of people can kind of misconstrue the leisure facilities as community facilities. I mean, essentially they are, but I think it's just been helpful to make that clear in the report in terms of what the facilities were we're looking at. I think that's where some confusion that I've got from some people over.
Okay. Yeah, for yourself, we'll take that point on board. There will be a full review going on of all assets belonging to Inverclyde Leisure later on in the year, so that would be included within that review.
Okay, thank you. Paul, is that okay? Any other questions? Can we agree the report? Thank you. And can we move on to agenda item number 6, which is again Inverclyde Library stock management policy. Now, Sarah, I believe you're online. Sarah, would you like to take through this? Sarah Christie.
Thanks, Chair. So this policy outlines the basis on which library resources are acquired, secured and managed across the Inverclyde Library Service. The policy is brought forward in support of ongoing service development and clear sectoral. The policy is reflective of the library team's focus on reader development. It offers a stated position on access to information and censorship, again with reference to sector best practice. This is the first meaningful update of the policy since a 2022-23 service review saw the secondary school library offer move into the wider library provision. And ultimately, the policy supports the library team in clear and transparent decision making with regard to stock selection. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Sarah. All up to any questions for anybody? No questions? Nothing online? No. Thank you very much for that. Can we agree the recommendations at point 1 and point 2?
Agreed.
And thank you. Can I thank you very much for the attention at this part of the report, the meeting, and hopefully the second part can be done as quickly. So thank you.